Hi guys, welcome back to Beyond the Cal. You've got Sammy here. We're doing Unit 9, Number 2, the solid circle today. So there are two ways to start off. You can start with a magic ring or do a chain of 4 to 6 slip stitch together to form the ring. And then we can move on to our first round. Now this is all about having a nice flat solid circle. So there's a little bit of maths that you can do to get it right every time. Firstly, I'm going to be working this in half double crochet, so I'm going to do a chain of 1, which doesn't count as a stitch, and then I'm going to start working my half double crochet into the ring. Now if you were working single crochet, you would do a chain 1 as well. If you're working double crochet, you do a chain 2 and treble a chain 3. Regardless of the stitch that you're using, the chain never counts as a stitch. 3, 4, 5. So you can see I'm about halfway around the circle with 5 half double crochet. Now that's the other thing, you want to make sure that you have enough stitches. The taller the stitch, the more that you'll need in the first round to get it to sit nice and flat. So with a single crochet, you'll do 6 to 9, half double crochet 9 to 12 generally, a double 12 to 15, and a treble 15 to 18, and slip stitching together at the top of the first stitch, not the chain. So I'm going to pop 10 half double crochet into this first round, and I'll meet you back here for round 2. Okay, so I've got 10 half double crochet for my first round. Working on to round 2 now. I'm going to work an increase into every stitch. So I'm going to do my chain 1 again, remembering that doesn't count as a stitch. And I'm going to work 2 half double crochet into that same stitch. 1, 2. So I started with 10 half double crochet, popping an increase into every stitch. I'll finish this round with 20 half double crochet. So there's 2 into each stitch from the previous round. And then I finish the round with a slip stitch into the first stitch. So ignoring that chain 1 and going into the first half double crochet stitch. I'll let you guys work your second round and I'll meet you back here for round 3. Okay, so second round is done. You can see perfectly flat, nice and even. Now I've done my chain 1. Round 3 we're going to work a single stitch between each increase. So lots of patterns will say to work your increase first. However, if you want a nice straight seam, you want to work your single stitches first. Working your increase first, it's going to skew either left or right, depending if you're left or right-handed. So I've done my chain 1, which doesn't count as a stitch. I'm going to work 1 single crochet into the same stitch, and then I'm going to work 2 into the next. I'm going to repeat that pattern around. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then an increase, which is 2 single crochet into the next one. So single crochet instead of half double crochet, it's going to be a slightly shorter round. With the increases, it's still going to work. Now, a good way to remember the increases are that when you're counting them, you're going to be counting to the same number as the round you're on. So we're on round 3. We do 1 single crochet, move to the next one, and we do number 2 and number 3. Okay. All right, I'll let you guys work the remainder of round 3 and I'll meet you here for round 4. Okay, finish round 4, you'll notice that it is a shorty round because I switched over to single crochet. Using our increase method, it won't have a huge impact and our circle is still nice and flat. So I've done a chain of 1 to start round 4. Now in this round we'll be working 2 single stitches between our increases. Remembering, in order to keep a nice straight seam, we're going to work our single stitches before our increase. So 1 single crochet, a second single crochet into the next stitch, and then an increase. So a third into the third stitch, and the fourth also into the third stitch. Gives us 4 stitches for round 4. So 1 half double crochet, a second half double crochet in the next stitch, and then our increase, which is 2 half double crochet in the 1 stitch, makes it 3 and 4. So 1, 2, increase makes 3 and 4. Alright, I'm going to let you guys finish working around round 4. Remembering, when we finish, we ignore the chain 1 and we slip stitch to join into the top of the very first half double crochet. Okay, I'll meet you back here for round 5. Okay, round 4 complete. You can see still nice and flat, perfectly round. I've done my chain 1 to start. This time for round 5 we're going to be working 3 single stitches between our increases, which, as I said, you know, if you count each stitch as you follow the repeat, it adds up to the round. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for round 5. So I've done my chain 1, which doesn't count as a stitch. I'm going to put a half double crochet in the same stitch, and then 1 into the next, and 1 into the third. Then I'm going to work my increase with 2 half double crochet into the 4th stitch. So as I said with the counting, 1, 2, 3, then we've got our increase, so working into the same stitch from the previous round with 4 and 5. So each round we go out, we add an extra single stitch in before we do our increase. Alright, I'll let you guys finish working round 5, remembering we ignore that chain 1 at the beginning and slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. I'll see you back here for round 6. Okay, we're up to round 6 now, still nice and flat and nice and round. I've done my chain 1, which won't count as a stitch, and I'm going to follow the same pattern that we have been following. So with this one, round 6, we're going to do 4 single stitches, the first one being in the same stitch as the join, and then another 3 before we do our increase. So 4, and then our increase, so 2 into the 1 stitch makes 5 and 6. So as I said, we're following, I'm getting very glary there, following the same formula and just adding an extra single stitch before our increase. Still, if we count each one, it adds up to the same amount as the round that we're on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're ready for our increase. So we work 5, and 6 into the same stitch. And that's round 6. I'll let you guys follow that repetition all the way back, remembering skip the chain 1 and slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. I'll see you back here to show you something else for round 7. Okay, we're back. Got a nice flat circle, but you will notice not perfectly round. We're starting to get some points happening where our increases are. And that's simply because we've put so many single stitches between, it's almost a side. Really easy way to avoid that. So our next round would be round 7. Round 7 we would do 5 single stitches before we do our increase. Instead of doing 5 and then doing our increase, we're going to work half of them and then do our increase in a different spot. So our join's going to remain nice and straight because we're going to work our single stitches first. So I'm going to work first one in the same stitch as my join. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to work my increase. So 4 and the 5th stitch into the same stitch. Oops. Then 6 and 7. So keeping count of our stitches and knowing what round we're up to makes this method a whole lot easier. Now you wouldn't want to alternate them every round. A good method is if you're doing an odd round, you're going to split them as I just did and put your increase in the center, and if you're doing an even round, count them out as normal as we have for the previous rounds. So I'll show you that again. Round 7, so 5 single stitches and an increase to make 7 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, then our increase, so 4 and 5 into the same stitch, and then we finish our count with a single 6 and 7. And you can see already on that side our point's gone, as you can see it quite clearly on the other sides. Alright, I'll let you guys finish working that round. I'll meet you back here to show you how quickly those points smooth out when you change that one simple aspect with the increase in the center instead of always at the end. And then we'll talk through a couple of other issues that could pop up when you are working circles. See you soon. Okay, we're back. So you can see, once again, we're back to nice and round, no points. Makes a huge difference. Now, working in the round, there are a couple of things that can go wrong. So everyone crochets differently with different tension. If you crochet tight or loose, then the standard method may cause some warping. So the fabric starts to ripple or ruffle if there are too many stitches around the edge of the circle. If you notice soon enough, you can fix it by doing one or the other of these things. So what I mean is, if it's kind of going like this all around and not flattening out. Right, I hook tightly, so this was a big issue for me. So 2 things you can do to fix it are work one round without increases and then continue following the pattern for increases as you were. So that's just a round, no increases, just a stitch in each stitch, and then repeating your standard increases, or skip around. So if you just finish round 6, skip round 7, your next round will follow round 8, where you'd be doing 6 stitches before you do your increase. So that should fix it. That's assuming that you're working with the right size hook for your yarn. Now the other issue that you might have is if your work starts to cup. That's if there's not enough stitches around the edge, and you'll notice it fairly quickly. Then you can repeat the previous round without having to do any of your rounds. So say you're up to round 6, you notice it was starting to cup, so before you go on to round 7, you would repeat the 1, 2, 3, 4 single stitches, and then an increase of 2 stitches like you did for round 6. So what I mean by cupping is literally it will cup. The sides will start to curl in like this and won't stretch out because they'll be too tight because there aren't enough stitches in that round. Now, circles are fantastic because they're really versatile. There are a heap of things that you can make and use them for. Heat pads, face scrubbies, all sorts of things. We've also listed a couple of really fun projects. This is one of them. So this is just a little tiny coin purse, worked with a button or a bead. It's 2 circles joined together with a single crochet join. We left a small chain gap on one and threaded a button onto the other. So nice and easy. Another fantastic one that was done by one of our team is the most adorable little cat blanket for a baby for tummy time. So I have a little picture of it if I can get it. Really, it's adorable. Has a smiley little face and is perfect for a baby to have some tummy time on the floor as they're growing. I hope that you have found this solid circle tutorial really helpful. I can't wait to see you all whipping up some amazing circular things. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, happy hooking.